It here, you can see it right over there on the flatbed truck which the Oak Ridge Fire Department used to deliver supplies to Ground Zero. The steel column is here to be dedicated along with our memorial, but this one is for a national purpose. Terry and Steve Mullins of Oak Ridge Tool and Engineering will help us cut the beam into 50 cross sections about 3 inches long. Those sections will be welded to steel plates by ORHS welding students as the backing for 50 bronze plaques similar to our plaque over here. Those plaques will each have an opening in them through which the World Trade Center steel will project and serve as a tangible reminder of the event for generations to come, and something by which the whole nation can be brought closer to this tragedy. This year's Student Council will work with the governments of each of the 50 states to place these plaques either in or around the Capitol building or in a school in each capital city. We plan to set in motion a fundraising drive to make this possible, a simultaneous unveiling of all the plaques on September 11, 2003, the 2-year anniversary of the attacks. We feel that as a nation, we must never forget the tragic events that occurred 1 year ago today. We must never again take our freedom for granted, and never should we allow the memories of September 11th's victims to fade away. I believe, though, that perhaps one of the best ways to honor the victims is to join together in their name to fight against evil and to stand guard to make sure that another tragedy like 9/11 never occurs again. Abraham Lincoln once said that an evil anywhere is a threat to freedom everywhere. That evil is still out there, and to most of the world, our nation represents freedom. But with memories like this to serve as the basis for our strength and motivation for years to come, our great nation should be able to successfully combat that evil. I hope that this memorial can serve that purpose. These 2 steel beams that you see should be a constant reminder of the vigilance that freedom demands and an eternal tribute to the innocent lives that were taken that day. Thank you.
I'd like to take a moment to explain the elements of the memorial and I guess in some symbolic way some of the problems we had with getting it ready for today, because it's taken quite an effort on dozens of people's parts. The longer steel column in the memorial is authenticated for us by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The smaller beam is authenticated by the Office of Mayor Michael Bloomberg of New York City. The granite block you see raised on the podium, which we have inscribed with September 11, 2001, was sent to us by the Army Corps and is said to be one of the largest pieces of granite retrieved from the rubble of the World Trade Center, most of the rest being pulverized into gravel by the force of the collapse. We intended today for the steel to be resting atop a granite dais, but the block of granite selected for that purpose was unfortunately destroyed by an automated machine sawing it last week. Another block is on the way, but will not arrive until tomorrow, when the process will begin again, cutting it into 6-inch thick pieces to form a dais. We will lift the steel with a crane, place the granite, and then replace the steel and a plaque, both to be permanently anchored into place. The plaque you will see, as we give you a chance later to come to view the memorial up close, is merely a facsimile. I was told it takes 10 weeks to make a bronze plaque of this nature, and that process is well underway, but they have provided this facsimile to give us an idea of what it will look like. But the 2001 and 2002 President of the Oak Ridge High School Student Council, Matt Mullane, will now read from the Congressional Record of the United States of America.
It took us a while to get to this point, but now I hope all of you are as proud as I am that we have a memorial here today with us, and I'm glad you all came out. This is a congressional record commending the Student Council of Oak Ridge High School The September 11th terrorist attacks were an unprecedented assault upon the American way of life. It is important that we memorialize the civilians who were killed and console the friends and families who would never want their loved ones to be forgotten. I would like to commend the Oak Ridge High School Student Council in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, for their plan to do just that. Since September 17, 2001, they have been working tirelessly to earn support for their plan to purchase the scrap steel from the World Trade Center rubble and fashion it into memorial displays for every cooperating high school in America. Their proposal also suggests that a plaque would be affixed to the steel describing the events in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania as a visible reminder of that dreadful moment in our history. Students at Oak Ridge High School, along with their student council advisor, Kenneth Center, have received the endorsement of their school leaders, their city leaders, and their state legislator. Over 100 students have helped raise money, write letters, and propose memorial designs. And their next step is to build the sanction of their local government by starting a charitable fund that will pursue national contributions and cooperation. We call on all citizens of this nation, every student, every teacher, every parent, and every leader to contemplate the potential of these memorials. They call on all communities in this nation to come together at unveiling ceremonies across this country, like we're doing here today, to remember that we are all one community and that we are all one people who firmly resolve to protect liberty and security. They call on everyone who passes by these scarred remnants to work harder, to learn more, to teach more, and most importantly, to love more. Through this undertaking, these students are learning the true meaning of citizenship. I applaud their efforts and wish them continued success in their endeavor.
That document was entered in by Congressman Zach Wamp, for which we're grateful. I am privileged to have been given and to, in turn, provide for others the greatest educational opportunities a man can know. I would like to thank several individuals who are direct contributors to our success at this time. Congressman Zach Wamp and his staff provided great advice and encouragement along the way, and most significantly, they gave us connections, a little history teacher, they gave us connections at the Smithsonian Institution, which we are now pursuing to determine the exact origins of our steel columns from reference numbers that were stamped into for construction. We hope to soon know from which tower and from which floors our steel came. Congressman Wamp also entered our idea into the congressional record back in June. I'd also like to thank Congressman John J. Duncan. He's to be thanked for it was his personal visit to David Leach of the Army Corps at the Fresh Kills landfill that gave Mr. Leach a favorable impression of Tennessee. Congressman Ed Bryant, Bob Clement, and Van Hillary all forwarded my original letter to Mayor Giuliani and to various public officials in New York. I need at that point, however, to especially thank Mr. David Leach, who alone believed in our plan in a most practical way and sent us most of the materials we have employed and will employ in this effort. He worked with Teddy Phillips of Phillips and Jordan in Knoxville to deliver the materials at no charge. He also opened the door to the mayor's office that allowed me to travel to New York and retrieve another beam, thus making our national campaign possible. Here in Tennessee, Dr. Gene Caldwell and Senator Randy McNally, both these gentlemen worked diligently to see Senate Joint Resolution number 497 through the General Assembly, thereby giving our little student council the sanction of our state government, which opened the door to our city and school